And hello, everybody, and welcome to the Chronicles of Chiron, the Lion, the Witch, and the Healer. My name is Chrystopher, the AstroMedium. Jessica.
And I'm Jessica Tanselle, medium, spiritual teacher, and healer. And I'm so grateful to be here chatting with you tonight. We have not caught up in, well,
Yes.
a couple of weeks. We both were out last week because our ascension symptoms were so,
Well,
right?
it's really going now. So now that I look back, we had no excuse. But I'm kind of like, well, shit, I guess this is, but you got to take a day. That's very important in our healing journey and on this ascension path, is taking time when we know we need to take it, not apologizing for it as well, which we're both guilty of that.
Not this time. I'm not
Not
apologizing
this
for
time.
that because I was like, my pressure was so bad.
Oh,
Just
yeah.
talk about it's like it was migraine level for me, like non-functioning. So
Well, I
what is
definitely am
that?
feeling a lot of the head stuff going on right now, more than I have been. And of course, the new moon in Capricorn is tomorrow night at midnight Eastern Standard Time. We'll talk a little bit about that here in a few minutes. It's also the 111 portal today. So of course, there's some energy activations going on, some upgrades that are happening. And then there are awesome and beautiful supportive sextiles to Chiron, which I want to talk a little bit about. So tell me what you're feeling right now.
Well, let's see. I've felt the head pressure. So those symptoms, I actually have, as soon as we got into 2021, I felt like things are already lighter.
Me too.
There's a lot of processing going on, but I feel like I'm able to look at things from a different
Me
place
too.
and have that bird's eye view. So it just feels like, we didn't expect that 2021 was going to hit and everything be okay, but it feels lighter already. And lots of heart activations, lots of
Lots.
throat
Yeah, oh
activations.
my God. Yes, absolutely.
They're telling me right now, solar plexus. So
That's where I'm feeling it right now. So
yes.
keep going.
So we're aligning a lot. We've moved a lot out over this past year, and we are now seeing that these activations are happening. There's still some things clearing out, but what they told me today
Yes.
was, you've been through the big work. We've had that great awakening on December 21st, and things are going to be much lighter, but it's going to be different for everybody is what they're telling me, because some of us have been waking up for a long time, and
That's what
some
I'm
of
getting
you
right now
may
too.
be very new, but just know what they're still telling me, it will be gentle. It's just some people more than others, depending on where
The
you
way
are.
they're showing it to me is as if there were groups who came forth to do the work beforehand so that we were not debilitated when en masse everyone else decided, or
Yeah.
everyone else's souls decided this is it. So we're all,
No.
just because it seems like we're farther along or we have more knowledge doesn't mean anything. We
Oh,
may
yeah.
have had to do more clearing than people who will start to catch up with us, but we had bigger karmic debts to pay, whatever it may be. But there's a lot of ascension symptoms going on right now in the physical body, especially with the new moon in Capricorn. Lots of fatigue. Insomnia is there, but with the new moon, it's that fatigue, it's that tiredness, that heaviness in the head. I'm getting a lot of pressure right here, and lots of pressure, heat, and odd sensations in the center of the chest. And really, just in the past couple of days and today, some extra. I say extra because these things are always coming and going. And I do reporting on ascension symptoms almost daily. So some of that comes from what I'm feeling, but when I go to sit down to write them, I'll start feeling other things, and I used to think when I was making my posts months ago, when I would just write about things, they would start happening and I would go, this is a psychological bullshit. This is me just making it happen. And I realized I'm just being given
Yes.
kind of, because I was told one time that I'm a human pendulum, okay, and I didn't really know what that meant until I got into all this, and I'm like, my body's as much as my third eye is open, my body is open to receive, because I am a physical empath as well.
Yes.
So the odd pain in the ribs and in the center where the solar plexus is, just discomfort. And it's like, oh, maybe I'm eating the same foods as I always did. I eat very plant-based, and I know that doesn't mean anything, but lots of vegetables today. And so it's just, there are things that you have to trust your own intuition, say, this is different, or this is something that's happening in alignment with other things that are occurring as well. I'm definitely feeling the heaviness emotionally. And I want to talk about a little bit more of that new moon energy that we'll get into. But there's, of course, with new moons, a heavy energy, and this one's very heavy in certain ways.
Well, let's jump into that. Since we've kind of gone into the ascension symptoms, let's jump into the new moon in Capricorn, because I'm working with the new moon energy, actually all the moon energy. And I just told Chrystopher before, I was like, oh yes, there's a new moon tomorrow. So
it just is creeping up on us. One of the things that I am noticing is time. So that time dilution, or the registering time differently, is an ascension symptom. It's an expansion of awareness where you start to move beyond linear time. It's a very slow process, but it starts with this, I cannot believe this is already now, and I can't believe that is so far away. And it feels like 2 years ago happened 2 months ago, and that happened 12 years ago, but it felt like yesterday. And why am I already this age? And then it's like, we were just doing this video, it feels like 2 days ago. It's very weird, the sensation of time. So with this new moon energy, there is a culmination of different things that are occurring on different levels. Of course, we could just focus on the fact that the sun is in conjunction with the moon. But today, since this is the Chronicles of Chiron after all, okay, today, Mercury, now in Aquarius, moves into a conjunction with Jupiter. So they're in the same spot. And that really not awakens the mind, but more makes the mind more active and makes us see things more in a positive way. It does not mean emotionally we're still not feeling things. It does not mean the ascension symptoms are gone. It does not mean that there aren't things still triggering. It's things that are coming up easily for us, because both Mercury and Jupiter, forming that conjunction in Aquarius, are making a 60-degree angle, which is a sextile to Chiron at the same time. And that's happening today on the 111 portal. And what does 111 represent? I see repeating numbers a lot.
yes.
So what does 111 mean to you?
So for 111 for me actually is a synchronicity portal. For me, this shows that, well, 111, 111, 1111, these numbers open an energetic portal that allow us to manifest quickly. These numbers are signs that spirit is with us, that things that we're working towards are happening. They are like spirit saying, hey, I'm trying to show you something. But on 111, 1111, these are energetic portals that open and allow us to manifest so easily and readily. So for today, you are not too late. I would recommend that you write down all the things that you would like to bring in and write them in the present tense like they're already happening.
Good idea.
I feel like, and then you just write it, you fold it up and ask the universe or God or whoever you speak to. I love them all. Ask them, I'm ready for this. And
I'm ready.
I'm ready.
I just wrote that in my posts.
And don't put negative words in there. I say negative words, but like, I no longer have. You would put I have, in whatever it is. Not I'm
because
no longer need to lose weight. You would be like, I'm healthy and fit.
Right. Very good. And that is very much being supported by this Mercury in conjunction with Jupiter, because Jupiter brings nothing but benevolence, even when he's in a tense square with Uranus on the 17th and in other opposing and squares. And he always brings this optimism, this abundance. Jupiter is abundance. And Mercury is the mind, it's communication. It's also our day-to-day dealings, how we deal with people, moving in traffic, going in and out of stores. That's all very much Mercury ruled. So with being in Jupiter, there is an ease and flow. There's a sociability. There's wanting to connect in new ways, bringing in new opportunities, because that's the energy that Jupiter brings in. And he really is the planet of the law of attraction or manifestation, I like to say, because all of them help us manifest in a certain way, but Jupiter really helps us manifest our dreams and our hopes, because he gives us that optimism and that positive outlook. And then both of them are giving Chiron an olive branch. So sextiles are 60 degrees and they are not automatically active. They're almost like an offer that you have to take. A trine is something that's just going to slide right into your life, okay? It's like, oh, that is so weird. I'm getting the image of Matilda. I don't know if you've seen that movie where the cake just lands and the fork just lands right in front of her. That's Jupiter, okay? And right now, there's this, not only Jupiter forming this sextile to Chiron, which is going to be a theme throughout this year, is this Chiron energy being supported by Saturn and Jupiter in a supportive sextile. But Mercury, on the day that Jupiter has a 0 degree aspect to Chiron, also forms that aspect. So you've got Mercury conjunct Jupiter, Jupiter sextile Chiron, Mercury sextile Chiron. What that tells me is that we're not only going to be given new opportunities to heal in certain ways, but we're going to be given a different perspective on our wounds, a more positive outlook on what our weaknesses and insecurities are. Because it isn't that the wounds, some of them may seem to go away, although they will always be a part of you because it is something you worked through, whether it's still active or not, but your relationship to it changes. Okay. And on the new moon in Capricorn, which just follows, okay, because this is happening today, and then you have tomorrow, speaking of relationships, Venus is going to form, she's in Capricorn, a square to Chiron. So this is going to activate in relationships triggers for us. And 111, 1 represents the new beginnings. So it's that new fresh start. And this is the first new moon in 2021. So this is the first major moon phase. And this is offering us a really unique opportunity to set intentions, because Capricorn is all about long-term goals. It's all about setting intentions and making an action plan. New moons, I just say lay down and shut up and just lay there. But with this new moon, I do have a ritual on my Instagram that went with my post. If people are looking for something, I like things to be given to me choreographed. Just give me something, I'll do it. You should make some type of action plan, but you should also support yourself and celebrate your successes. Capricorn is all about success, but Saturn rules Capricorn. So there can be this energy of you're not doing enough, or you're failing at this. You're not achieving what you set out to do. And throughout the entire year of 2021, and it really begins now, especially if with this portal opening and this new moon, things are really starting to become activated. Throughout 2021, we'll have some tense squares between Jupiter and Uranus and Saturn and Uranus that really set the tone for the year. But underneath all of that, Chiron will travel with Jupiter and Saturn, because Chiron sits between Saturn and Uranus. So there's a Saturn-Uranus square, and Saturn making a sextile to Chiron. It's like perfectly choreographed. So while this Saturn square Uranus thing is happening, which is major structural changes to society and the way we move around in our world, and think big things are changing and happening, but there's this vibration of healing if we choose to, because it is a sextile. If you choose to do the work, Saturn sextile Chiron, if you choose to structure your life around your insecurities and your weaknesses, and you reframe your perception on that, Mercury offering us that now, then you will have a different trajectory that will get you where you're wanting to go. And you'll start using them as a tool to get you there. Period.
So what I hear you say is you need to choose these things that are coming. Don't just blow it off. Like, make a choice to manifest. Make a choice to choose the things that manifest. Be aware of yourself and your surroundings energetically too. You know?
Oh, very much so. Yes.
Like where you said with the, you know, the trines, like they really are like, they're gonna slide right in, but these sextiles, you're like, you're gonna have to pick it up.
Yes, here it is. You want it? All you have to do is meet me halfway. That's the sextile. We've got this energy, but you've got to activate it and pull it in.
I'm activating it.
Me fucking
already
too.
activated. I like to talk about. It's already done. Done.
Period. Yes.
It's
Present
interesting
tense.
how, you know, when we talk about Chiron, because it's a big piece of what you and I, you know, have in common in our charts,
Yes.
and what we talk about every week. And those wounds and the healing that I've seen in mine with my body, because mine is my body. That is the wound that.
Yes. Chiron. For those of you all who are just tuning into this or who are not as familiar with Chiron, Chiron is the wounded healer in mythology and in astrology. And Jessica and I both have a Chiron in the first house. This is very important because Chiron sits directly on my ascendant sign. But he's just a few minutes after, so he's in my first house. And when you've got Chiron in the first house is the self, the body, and you and I both, we're going to carry that with us. But at some point, that wound turns into a gift. It turns into a healing, but then that transforms it into a gift. So,
yeah, it's been incredible just to see that in myself. Like, not shaming, not blaming, just, you know, more being. So I just hope for all of you, wherever your Chiron is, that you see such healing with this, you know, this moon where Chiron is with, you know, Mercury and Jupiter. Holy shit, Jupiter. Come on. I like it.
Yes, Jupiter he's a big player this year, just like he was last year. Saturn and Jupiter were big players last year. They are big players this year too. But now Uranus is the one getting beat up a little bit, and he's pushing back. Okay, Uranus is the awakener. He is the rebel planet. There are major aspects that are going to be coming this year, and Uranus is the ruler of Aquarius, and this is the year of Aquarius, as we will experience a super stellium in Aquarius in February, which hasn't happened since 1962, and it did not happen with Jupiter and Saturn both in Aquarius, so this is new. Okay?
Yeah.
It ain't woo-woo, it's new.
New moon. I love working in the new moon energy for manifestation. So it was interesting to hear you say that you're like, sit back and receive. And I usually will do a ceremony and do some drumming, but focus on manifesting. And even though on my full moon, I'll do a release and a manifest, I often, and we're in 111, so if you write it today, you can just slip it under your candle, or during your new moon tomorrow, your work is done, and it's powerful. This, you know, like we talked about, this being a portal, that just is adding power to your manifesting power. So it's like they just like quadruply, that's the word for the evening. We just quadruply increased it. So, so amazing. I'm trying to think what else we've got going on this week.
I do want to talk a little bit more about this new moon in Capricorn, so that people understand the heaviness and the energy.
Yes.
So, we are moving into some new areas in the galaxy. Okay, so the solar system is moving in this highly charged particle environment. So the ascension, just because Jupiter and Saturn have entered Aquarius, and they'll eventually pull apart, Jupiter will go into Pisces, and Saturn, of course, will stay in Aquarius. That does not, this is a new cycle that has begun, but this is going to, all these different things will lapse over a long period of time. And this doesn't mean the ascension symptoms. We're experiencing kind of a calm before a storm is what I keep hearing. And that doesn't mean for us it's something bad again. It's just this mass thing that is going to happen. We're still gearing up for that when it playing out on the world stage and all of that. Now, with this new moon in Capricorn, the moon will be conjunct Pluto. So there's heavy emotions there, very intense emotions. And this comes just a couple days before the sun makes his conjunction to Pluto as well. But on the day, so we have the new moon happening at midnight, and then on the 13th, you've got Mars square Saturn. This is the third time in 6 months this has happened. Mars square Saturn is a lot of, I want to do stuff, and you just feel like you're being restricted and held back, and it's almost like an engine that wants to combust. And so that could drain our energy if we're not careful. And we're already going to be lower in that hyped up energy because Mars is in Taurus, and then it's the new moon in Capricorn. But also the moon will then make a conjunction to Saturn and a square to Mars. So the moon is almost triggering these things on the same day. And so there's a lot of energy packed into one. And be mindful, everyone. You will want to push more and do more. And it's trying to get you with this Saturn energy, and Saturn rules Capricorn. Take your time. Think this out. Plan ahead. Set a goal for yourself. And that will be the work that needs to be done rather than, I'm not saying manifesting is making something happen, that's allowing, but making something happen is not what you want to do. And you might feel pulled to do that, especially even if you're tired. And people need to follow their bodily intuition on that.
I feel like that is a theme. Is follow your gut and your intuition this year. That is where we've been asked to wake up a little bit. You following your intuition and make sure you're not going too fast or making sure that you are taking action. So be sure you follow that intuition. I'm hearing that that's just something that we all need to be more aware of because we do so much for anybody else but ourselves. So Spirit is like, yes, we're going to be asking for that more. It's for you to follow your intuition.
Yes, that's exactly. Trusting your intuition that means you trust yourself. You trust the mechanism. You trust a lot more than other people's opinions. That's your internal compass. And that's something that, of course, I've been forced to do because of the work that I'm doing. So how can I trust my intuition in a reading with somebody that I'm doing for them and not trust it in my own life? It starts to make me go, those little thoughts or those little images that pop in, those might not just be pulled out of my ass. Those might just be given to me because I'm supposed to. So many things I have been given, or these ideas that have come in that then happen, or I then in the moment I'll go, oh, I shouldn't do that, and then it'll play out at some point because I just let it be and I said, that's interesting, rather than judging it. There's a lot of things that I've learned in 2020, or I guess in my life so far. 2020 really fucking did it, but it really, and I want to keep reiterating this to people. 2020 was out with the old and in with the new. Okay.
Old behaviors, old patterns, old relationships.
And there's a lot of that will come up during this new moon in Capricorn, some revisiting of certain things, because the moon literally at 2:22, I don't make this shit up, at 2:22 a.m. and 2 hours and 22 minutes after the exact conjunction of the sun and the moon will conjunct Pluto, and Pluto is all about those shadow aspects of us. Pluto wants to evolve you, but Pluto wants to work you through it in not hard ways, that would be Saturn, but more, it can be difficult because of what needs to be let go of, and it's all about something dying so that something else can be put in its place. That's Pluto. So go
when
for
you said
it.
that, I heard Spirit say it can be difficult if you choose not to go with the flow and follow your intuition.
Yes.
Could be gentler if you go with your intuition and not resist. I mean, do what you can, because sometimes we can't help but resist, but I'm just going to encourage you to flow with it.
Yeah, and most of the pain is coming from our ego saying we should be this, or you doing that means that about you. And it's all just things that have been agreed upon and made up. And so, but that again has to be worked through. So you've got the moon conjunct Pluto, and then a couple days later, the sun conjunct Pluto, which is ego death. You can look at it that way, transformation of the ego. So we've got a pretty big week right now. And so there will be these upticks in ascension symptoms. The Schumann Resonance, I think it wasn't it was today and yesterday, I believe. The amplitude was at 41. And usually it sits at 8, 7, 8, 9, 12. And it was at 41. So we had a spike in, on the 111 portal, a spike in Schumann resonance, which is of course going to affect our sleep and our body and all kinds of different things, which is a part of the ascension process. So the planets, she's doing her thing too.
She is really healing for sure. That's something that keeps coming up. Anything else we want to talk about tonight? I feel like we covered it.
Yeah, I'm good.
Spirit, to make sure we didn't have anything. Well, what you got going on this week? Tell us what's about coming up.
Well, of course, if you'd like to book a reading with me, you can go to my website, www.chrystopherwithawymedium.com. If you're not already following me on TikTok and Instagram, you can go to the@AstroMedium. I post daily about all of the astro forecasts, ascension symptoms that are going on, so you can check me out there. If you want to learn more about astrology and using your intuition with astrology, you can go to eclipseoverroswell.com. I am the in-house astrologer for Eclipse here in Atlanta, Georgia, and I do weekly astrology classes. We will be starting 6-month in-depth courses, but right now we do open to the public every Wednesday at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. It's $10. You can join us in store if you're in the Atlanta area, or on Zoom. And you can go to visiteclipse.as.me/astro. You can rewind this video for that again, or if you didn't have a pen in your hand, tough shit. Okay, visit eclipse.as. Hold on now. Visit eclipse.as.me/astro to pre-register for that. Jessica, what the fuck do you have going on?
Hold on, let me see if I can breathe. Okay. All right. Well, this week, Wednesday, I will be talking about mediumship and the chakras in the Intuitive Witch Tribe, which is a free group here on Facebook. So if you want to join me there, I do free new moon ceremonies in there. My plan is to do that one tomorrow at 9:30. And I will be talking about the chakras Wednesday at 1 o'clock. We have a weekly book club in there, and I also do meditations and live readings in there. So it's a great learning space.
Awesome.
Every Monday, 7:45, I teach mediumship in a mediumship circle. That is a $20 class. We talk about mediumship, we practice mediumship, and we just continue our development skills together through Zoom. I do have a full moon ceremony in person. I only have a couple spots left available here in Louisville, Kentucky. If you want to find that or book a reading with me, you can go to thejessicatanselle.com. You can follow me on Instagram and on TikTok at thejessicatanselle. It's definitely good for your heart and your smile. I will bring you laughter. And
for sure.
At the end of this month, I'm doing a spiritual goddess retreat. I only have a couple spots left in that. And it is going to be a 2-night retreat. It is phenomenal. I cannot wait to pamper this group of women. I get to pamper women.
That's
I just
amazing.
get to pamper them. So
goddesses.
God,
Okay.
yes.
Oh,
so I'm so excited.
Come on, Lilith.
Looking forward, go to thejessicatanselle.com. You will find it. I would love to see you. And so honored to be here with you again tonight.
Yes. enough of these shameless plugs. We don't have an advertising team, so it's all us, you know. So thank you everyone for joining us here on Soulfire for the Chronicles of Chiron, the Lion, the Witch, and the Healer. We will see you all next week here Monday night at 9:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Have a good night.
Bye, you guys. See you later.